Hey, what's going on, guys? Heads here from Infinity Loops, and today we take a look at Flywoo's new 1S bind and fly, the FR16 Nano Baby V2. I'd like to start off the video just by mentioning that Flywoo was kind enough to send this bind and fly out for us to try, as well as one of their new 6-port 1S chargers. This is the version 1. This one has A30 charging, which is the new GMB plug batteries, as well as pH 2.0. Let's have a quick word about the specs that they got in this new version. First off, we got 76 millimeters roughly post to post, 28.6 grams dry weight. This is using the new V3 1S Nano camera from Flywoo, so that's an upgrade from the previous one we saw. This also has the upgraded canopy, which is 3D printed of TPU, so it's a bit flexible. This has your Express LRS receiver mounted in there, as well as the camera and your antenna. It does not appear that there is much of any wiggle room as far as in the angle of the camera. It sets you with fairly low angle, I'd say maybe 20 to 15 degrees. It doesn't look like much more than that. It is also sporting a thicker bottom plate on it. If we move up to the top side, we can see they are using these special edition gold and purple Flywoo ROBO motors. These are 1002s at 23,500 kV, and they are listed as competition grade, which I'm not sure which competition they're referring to, but take that for what you will. Those motors are spinning these 1609 quad blade gem fan props. These are 40 millimeter propellers. And at the heart of the build, we find the Goku Versatile F411 V2, which has a built-in 250 milliwatt VTX. And it is also running the new A30 plug on that. As I mentioned, Flywoo did send out this little 6-port 1S charger. This does A30 as well as pH 2.0. They did send over some of their A30 plugged 450 1S packs, which I'll be using those for all of my flights today. Now, with all that out of the way, facts are fun and all, but as you all know, I'm here for one thing and one thing only, and that's to answer the question of, but does it freestyle? Now, I forgot to mention a few days ago that this bind and fly does also come with the little Flywoo prop cages, which are featured in some of their other bind and flies. I didn't actually try them out. I'm not really sure that I would ever use them. It does add a bit more weight. I think it was around 34 grams once you add in the cages around the props. I would use these for if I was flying around other people or if I was flying indoors. where I wanted to protect my drywall or other people's skin, I would probably use these. So some pros of this build that I was able to notice is, one, I really do like their 1002 motors. I've been using the 23,500s on another toothpick build of mine with HD0, and I've liked that a lot. However, I'm not using quad blade propellers on it. I personally don't like tuning with quad blade 40 millimeters. I've just never had great luck with getting clean tunes on them. So I prefer tri-blades or bi-blades. I did measure out bi-blades for this, and they will work just fine. I didn't actually try them yet. I wanted to fly it just the way that it is. I also tried 45 millimeter propellers for anybody interested. I prefer 45 millimeter propellers when I'm using the 1002 motors, so I just wanted to make sure that those would fit, and they do. Plenty of clearance to not have to modify anything on the frame or the canopy. You can just slap 45s on and let it rip. The overall build quality is very nice. I think the bottom plate is 2 millimeters thick, and it holds up very well in crashes. A lot of tumbling around and beating it up. The canopy as well has kept everything well protected. I didn't damage any of my components or break anything, so that's always a plus. I do think this new V3 camera that Flywoo made, the 1S Nano camera, is very nice. It's much better than the previous iterations of this camera. They've definitely made some improvements on the picture quality. On average, I was getting around 3.5 to 4 minute flight times, and that is using those A30 Flywoo 1S 450 packs. Finally, moving on to the cons, which really there's only one that I have, and that would be that the tune on it that it came with was not the greatest. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't the best tune that Flywoo has sent out on a bind and fly. It was still very manageable. It was still easy to freestyle it, but I was able to pull out some washout here and there that maybe somebody smarter than I with Betaflight tuning can figure out. I don't really dive too deep into the Betaflight side of things ever, so I tinkered with it a little bit and cleaned up a few things, but I didn't want to mess with it too much from the stock tune that it comes with. Although I will mention that Flywoo in the past has put out bind and flies that had shaky tunes on them, and then they've later released an update that you can just flash onto your quad and it'll give you a clean, updated tune. But overall, I think this build is good. It's acceptable. I mean, like I said, it'll fly out of the box just fine. But if you're going to get into some really intricate tricks and things like that, you'll definitely notice some washout and some loose spots in the tune. But for a price point of $140 or $139.99 on Flywoo's website, I don't think it's too bad of a deal. I mean, there's nothing extra you're going to need to buy to make this fly better. You really just need to tinker with the tune a little bit, and then you got a pretty tight flying quad. And that will do it for my opinion on the quad. I want to thank Flywoo again for sending this out for us to check out. Thank you very much, and keep improving. I think you guys are really starting to step it up lately with the bind and flies, and I'm happy to see it. I'd also love to hear your opinion on this quad. Have you tried this out for yourself yet? Do you plan on trying it out for yourself? Let me know down below in the comments. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next one.